A divine being in an incarnated experience is truly what you are. It is your birthright and natural state. You have never been anything else. Allow your beloved I Am presence to rule your heart, to rule your life in total trust. Master Saint Germain, the seventh ray, the violet flame of transmutation.
All right. Hello, and welcome to our August 16th edition of Consciously Creating Together. It's been a few weeks since we had a live panel. Being the summer, a lot of us have been busy doing summer things, so we took a few weeks off, but now we are back, and I am delighted and honored to have with me today my very own brother, Andrew Cole. And he's got something really special going on. He's been working on it for several years, and he's got just like a tiny little yard here in Port Richey, Florida. not to dox you or anything, but, and and he has turned his entire yard into an amazing food forest. I mean, I don't know what you want to call it. I've never seen anything quite like it, to be honest. You go over to his house and he's just like, oh, why don't you come on back here and eat eat some of my cherries from Africa and my Mount Vesuvius tomatoes. Whatever else. Like, you never know what this guy's gonna have growing in his yard. It's quite impressive. He's also raising chickens and eggs, and he's come up with an ingenious system for keeping those chickens fed perpetually. I'm sure it's got hiccups, and you can talk about that as well. He designs hydroponic, like do-it-yourself, modular hydroponic gardening systems. It's really quite impressive, and he has a goal to help other people learn how to do this. He will help you set this up yourself. If you want to do your own hydroponic system in your yard, I promise he will help you. So I'm pleased to introduce Andrew, and please take a few minutes and tell us about yourself.
Sure. Well, first off, it's a pleasure to be here. Happy to be able to join one of these consciously creating together scenarios with my brother. And so as he said, I go by the nickname The Future of Gardening. I have a YouTube channel where I teach people to grow their own food. I perform a lot of experimentation with different methods of growing, whether it's hydroponic or soil. I typically will do a good healthy mix of both. I started off, when we were growing up, our father was actually pretty big into gardening. I think everywhere we lived, he at least had a garden somewhere. So, in my teens, he took it upon himself to build this crazy, huge, just hydroponic pipe system. We took these 6-inch pipes and we cut them in half, and we organized holes, every so often, and placed what are called net cups in each hole, and that's what holds and supports the plant in place. And he had it on a timer where the pipes would flood, and then it would release after about maybe 20 minutes and go back into a reservoir that he had me slave away and bury into the ground along with some other people.
I was going to say it wasn't just you.
No, it was not just me. But so anyway, so we had that done, and I was very impressed by the whole thing. It really made an impact on my life. As much as I hated weeding, every time I'd be asked to go out and do weeding and stuff in the yard, I feel like overall it made an impact on knowing where our food comes from, knowing that having a strong connection to the earth and strong connection with God, just really you see a harmony, and you see the way the world can take take and return energy depending on how you give it. And I feel that in 2020, when we were presented with an opportunity, my wife and I, to purchase a home, I saw it as a great opportunity to begin my journey in just connecting with nature, learning from the ground up. You know, the only experience I had gardening was the experience I had by doing, sometimes against my will, what my father had, you know, intentions for us to do. But I did pick up what I could, learned what I could, and I took off running with it. Started off doing a little bit of indoor stuff, built some indoor hydroponic gardens and whatnot. But then over the course of the years, I've kind of hybridized. Fruit trees are much better off in the soil, so I'll have my annual type, you know, tomatoes, cucumbers, all that in hydroponic, you know, different devices that I've created, and then I'll have more of a perennial, you know, soil-based application in the yard. But you know, as of recently, I've started getting really deep into, probably as of this year, deep into the harmonization and just soil alone. And every soil is not the same. There's a mycorrhizal network that should be present in healthy soil that's not always present everywhere else. There's a lot going on in the background that we all know about. Maybe some of the people here don't know, but you know, we've been getting bombarded with different things in the background. Let's, for one, contrail, chemtrails, whatever you want to call it. I firmly believe that one of the purposes of that is to kill the soil, to kill that relationship that any gardener can go out in their backyard and perform, to basically have us relying on, you know, the big wigs and you know, the big farms that are all controlled. You know,
I'm going to stop you for just a second, just to reassure you. I guarantee you, most of our viewers know about chemtrails. You're among friends here.
So given that, you know, I really do believe that, you know, that you can look into the nature. It's like silver dioxide, and there's a bunch of other things, and aluminum, even chemical agents that they're spraying, and that stuff is dense. It doesn't just stay up in the air. That falls on us over time, very slowly, by the way. That's what they want. So it was a progressive thing over the past, probably, especially 20 to 30 years, to where it's very hard to notice the difference in growing. But I can tell you that growing up, we would buy a tomato plant, put it in a pot, just buy a regular bag of soil, and it would grow just fine. Didn't have to do anything. But today, if I were to go and buy a bag of soil and go and put a tomato in a pot, it's a world of difference. It doesn't just grow with watering. You have to amend it. You have to create that biological and mycorrhizal network in the soil once more, because I believe it's for the most part dead. Composting works quite a bit. So, you know, having a compost pile gets you what you need for that relationship in the soil. But you can really tell now, you know, your plants will talk to you when you have a problem. The leaves might go yellow. Your plants might, you know, the leaves might droop. And there's a host of reasons that could be the case. So really, it boils down to what's going on in the soil underneath that plant, and what can you do to make that better. I love both applications, hydroponic and soil. I just, because I'm learning about the soil relationships this year, I'm pushing a little bit heavier into it, just so I can understand, you know, nature, and this is the most natural way, you know, that was intended for us to grow things, as much as I do, you know, love the hydroponic methods. But so I believe conquering both of that, you know, those things will help somebody become extremely self-sufficient, and also build a very strong connection to nature, and at the end of the day, to know exactly where our food comes from, and that we can all be provided for with just a little bit of our own energy being, you know, put forth in effort. You know, you don't have a whole lot of room, buy a pot, you know, keep it on a patio, do something, and it might not save you, bukus of money. It's just the principle of the thing. You know that it's your love and your sweat and tears went into it, and you're getting back way more energy than you would be going to the grocery store and buying one and then just eating it. It's a more conscious aspect to it that keeps me hooked. Like, I just want to go back out. I want to like grow something else. I want to like, oh, I could squeeze something in here. As crazy as it sounds, Dave's absolutely right. I don't have a whole lot of room to work with, but I'll go vertical sometimes. I'll do all sorts of different things to try and squeeze in what I can. And I was going to say, he did mention chickens. So as of this year, early this year, we decided to get chickens. It wasn't quite due to the bird flu thing. The bird flu hoax came in about maybe, month or so after, but it was starting to make itself known. But we really wanted to do it because we've just been hearing so many things about the feed, and you don't really know what's going into your chicken's food. You don't. And that's another thing that makes me be like, well, I know exactly what I can feed them, and I know exactly, how they're being treated. I know that they're loved and they return love. They're not just scared running away all the time. I know that they're happy, and I can tell you that chickens that are shown love and positivity will return that in fold, based on both the food and the energy you put forth into them. So it's a quarter acre of land.
That's really an amazing amazing truth that you're pointing out there. Just like in the video that I showed in the beginning, a divine being in an incarnated experience is truly what you are. You've never been anything else. And yes, that goes for everything that's alive, from a chicken down to a worm. They are all created from the divine spark. They are all extensions of the Creator, and we should treat all life with this level of respect. And thank you for doing that and for teaching others.
Yeah, absolutely. I really, my channel, I'll be up front. My channel's pretty small still. My subscriber base is still pretty small, but it is, every video I put out, it does increase the crowd. But ultimately my goal is not really to get a huge subscriber base, but it's to get a lot of like-minded people together that can not only just take what experiences I have to share, but maybe even share experiences with me that I can learn, and at the same time continue to bolster each other with inspiration to help us get motivation to continue to help other people wake up and open their eyes to just the possibilities. Anybody can just stop what they're doing at any time and make a decision to do something else. And whatever that is, it's whatever you were created to do, whether it's to go out, for my instance, plant a garden, or maybe it's to create, cool AI videos, or anything. We all have a calling. We all have something that we can do that can change, the course of time and leave behind a legacy. So, in a nutshell, that's really what I'm about. Working on some really cool projects this year. I tend not to do the hydroponic stuff, going back, when it's in the heat of the summer. The water tends to get extremely hot. So working on that. But maybe next summer I'll have something going to where I'll be hydroponic year round. But I'm building, I built it's like a hydroponic tower last year that did pretty well, making some modifications to it once it cools down some. And then this year I'm going to go for it again. I'm going to build 2 models, and then our father wants 2 models as well, so I'm going to build him a couple. But it's really fun seeing all of the different applications of methods to grow food. My brother and I just recently saw a article where scientists have put magnets on the bottom of plants, and basically these magnets levitate the plants and create an environment where the roots are getting, complete airflow with a light misting of nutrient mist. Those systems can be tricky because of the water hardness. So I'm assuming they have some kind of a water softener and all sorts of different filters applied before spraying these plants. But it's quite interesting to see a lot of these sci-fi ways that they're growing food these days. There's the NASA program where they're growing hydroponically upside down in a big cylindrical rotating, almost like a Ferris wheel. It's really incredible. It creates a environment where you don't really need gravity to grow anything. It'll continuously circle around, and as it approaches down the bottom, it hits a reservoir of water, so it's not continuously submerged. It's just touching the water every time it skims down the bottom. But yeah, it's just really fascinating getting to continue to learn all of these different ways. But sharing all of this with everybody as I continue to learn, and going back on the soil part of it as well. They're still discovering new symbiosis, with different bacteria or fungal networks, mycorrhizal networks, you name it. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So talk to me about the this technological component that you want to build for your garden. Is that still on the table?
It's on the table.
Okay.
So there is a fully automated system that we're looking to build. It's called the Hydroponic Garden Monitor. And its purpose is to attach to a hydroponic system, for now at least. And it has multiple sensors that go into the water, and it'll tell you things like the temperature. It'll tell you the TDS meter stuff, so the hardness of the water, the minerality. It'll tell you the acidity. And I'm also going to create a portion where if it does detect these things and they're out of bound with the profile you have set, let's say you're growing tomatoes, so you want a pH of 5.5 to 6.5. So if it goes above or below, it'll have a dispenser that automatically dispenses what it needs, whether it's, baking soda for alkaline or, citric acid for going down a little bit. So it'll have different components like that to keep somebody going on a fully automated system where, if you wanted to go on vacation for a few days, you really wouldn't have to worry too much. So it's a big project, big undertaking, though, I will tell you. So it's been interesting working with it, but
yes,
I'm not going to give up.
I do know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few months there, you were like, hey, how's it going on the monitoring system? Now you get it.
Yeah.
I was doing it as fast as I could.
I know.
But yeah, it's so from the technical side, we're using a Raspberry Pi, and then we've got like a bunch of like monitoring devices that we're wiring in, and just building a custom web interface to kind of archive all that data, collate it, and transmit it out to an app or a website, whatever, so that you can in real time interact with your hydroponic garden. And we've got some interesting visions for this, but we're still running into a few technical hurdles just to like get the initial prototype built, but it's coming along slowly but surely. We're gonna get there. But,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Anything else on the gardening front? Anything else that we didn't cover yet that you just want to talk about? Like how? Okay, so say someone just heard you talk about all this, and they're like, wow, like how could I get started with this, Mr. Future of Gardening? What would you say to them?
I would recommend anybody start out with the same way that I did. I mean, if you're planting in soil, then I would recommend, a few different alternatives. But if you're looking to go hydroponic, I would recommend you just do what's called the Kratky method, and it's a method of gardening where you fill a reservoir. Like, you can go to Home Depot and buy a 27-gallon reservoir, drill a couple holes in the top, and put a couple net cups in there with some perlite or whatever medium you want to use, and your plant goes in there. As long as the bottom of the plant's touching the water line, and your roots are touching the water, that water that's sitting still and stagnant will actually feed the plant, and the plant will begin to grow. What happens is, plants are amazing. They can adapt to all sorts of environments, actually quite like humans. If they're put in a situation where the oxygen in the water is deprived, they take it upon themselves to develop a new kind of root. These roots grow towards the top of the plant, and they're white and fuzzy. Almost looks like a fungus growing up, but it's actually not. They're tendrils, and they have little networks of cells that gather the oxygen out of the air and actually take that oxygen up into the plant instead of getting it to the water. Whereas like a deep water culture, you would do a bubbler. You'd have some kind of a pump or something getting water, stirring and agitated so that oxygen would continue to flow through the water. Whereas Kratky, it requires no electricity. I would recommend it for anybody first time. It's so easy. I grew so many pounds and pounds of, my favorite thing, tomatoes, but on top of that, cucumbers, squash,
hot peppers.
Hot peppers. I'm growing lots of peppers this year, actually.
Have you ever grown a hot pepper that would send someone to the hospital?
Yes, grew one that sent me to the hospital.
Have you ever eaten a hot pepper like that?
Yes, it was as wimpy as it is. It was only a ghost pepper, but it was hot enough.
This is like totally divergent, but do you know what happened to me the other day? This was awful. This actually happened to all three of us because we were together.
What's that?
We were in Tarpon Springs, and we went to downtown Tarpon Springs to go to, I don't know if you've seen the Replay Museum that's in downtown Tarpon Springs.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? But so we went and parked in the public parking lot, and I drove my Camry up to where the front fender slid over the concrete barrier, and it was like the concrete barrier was built in such a way that my car was literally caught on the barrier. So like I tried to pull out, and it literally ripped the front fender up and bent it outwards. Yeah. Yeah. And so that was Tarpon Springs, man. But anyway, it was an okay night aside from that. It's just a used Camry, so I'm probably gonna replace it soon, I think. But
that's unfortunate to hear. I hate when stuff like that happens. You're just doing your own thing, and some engineer decided that, hey, this will be great right here, and then But that's what I'd recommend if you wanted to get started. I would highly recommend Kratky, and I could send all sorts of. Actually, Dr. Kratky has his own YouTube channel. That's how I learned. So,
and you have a YouTube channel too, right?
I do.
Future of Gardening is your YouTube channel.
Yep. And I do cover Kratky in there, so
that's awesome.
It's very, very easy to get started. Doesn't require a whole lot of money either. Just buy a water-soluble fertilizer. I've got recommendations on my page. I've got recommendations on the top of my head right now. I locally source one now from one of my friends, but before that I was buying Maxi Grow and Maxi Bloom. So that one is probably about 90% water soluble. Unfortunately, you'll end up with a few solids after a few times of refueling. So it would behoove anybody to completely drain out your Kratky tub and then refill it. And what you can do is just pull your plant up, out, lay it up somewhere where the roots aren't going to get, too out of shape. Just pour your water out, and then pour new water back in, mix the solution in the correct ratio that tells you on the back of the bag. And really that's about it. Now, if you want to get a little more sophisticated, you can install a NFT fitting you know, on the side towards the bottom of the box, the reservoir, and then you could add a valve, and then so you can just twist it, open it, and drain it instead. So you wouldn't have to lift your box or worry about where you were going to put your plants. You could just, you know, add a little valve on there, and you'd be a-okay with that too. So
It's awesome. And I even have a personal testimonial and recommendation for future of gardening hydroponic systems, because you know, back a few years ago or earlier on in the pandemic, right, I purchased my own hydroponic gardening system from Dr. Jane Ruby, and it was like the Tower Garden. It was like $1,000, and you got this tower, hydroponic PVC pipe tower that you can have like inside your home, and you know, you assembled it and kept water running through it and grow you know, plants all up and down it, and it was great for a while. And you know, Future of Gardening even gave me a few tomatoes and a few other plants that I grew in there, and they did great for a little while. And then after some time, the tomato plants started growing in such a way that literally, like, the water from the hydroponic system started trickling and dripping down the vine and dripping onto the floor. And before I knew it, like, there was a giant puddle, like giant, in the middle of our dining room floor. And I was like, oh no, we cannot have this. So yeah, after a few times of fiddling with it, after that, I finally gave up on Jane Ruby's Tower Garden. But it, you know, it did work great for a few months. But eventually, when we left that place, I ended up leaving the Tower Garden behind and trashing it. So, but your system, like, how much does it cost to put one of your systems together? It's not even half what it costs to get one of those, is it?
yeah, it's going to be a little less than half. I think with my most recent modification, it'll bump it up to about 350 to 400 for a system, and you can grow 30 plants on the system.
Yeah.
So the issue actually that I had last year was the same exact issue that he was just describing. I was having water run off actually through the cell and onto the plants and then dripping. Mine was outside, fortunately for me. But so what I found is actually some chicken feeders. They're the same ones that I used to feed my chickens. They're chicken feeder attachments. They work just like an NFT fitting that you would screw on, to the bucket. It screws in from the back on one side and screws in on the other side, and it has this little opening. And on the other side, it has a deflector. So I'm going to make it so the deflector is pointing up, so that when the water hits it, it goes around. It doesn't come up and through. And then on the front side, it's going to have the feeder opening, which goes down and in. So even if water gets in there, it's going to drain out before it could even fill up and come out. So this was probably the biggest upgrade that I was recently have come up with for it that should really amp up the game with this system. This is ultimately the system that I would like to use with that hydroponic garden monitor. So I am still trying to perfect this at the same time, and I would like this to be successful. Personally, I would like all the defects and flaws to be gone from the main system before I worry about the flaws and defects on the garden monitor, because this is like the backbone, the bread and butter to the other applications. So this year's going to be a big year for a lot of experimenting.
Cool. Let's see. Superman versus Goku. Who wins?
Still Superman.
Okay. See, that's very magnanimous of you. You're still a big Dragon Ball Z fan, right?
I am. Yeah, but it just it's two completely different cultures. I think he'd probably give him a good fight now with his latest power up. Once he absorbed the sun, I think it's over.
Yeah. But like, I never really got into that show, but I can appreciate, like, in a lot of Japanese culture, and that's Akira Toriyama. Most of the stuff he worked on is very, like, spiritually enlightened. And
I was just gonna say, We
Yeah,
both like Akira Toriyama.
and it honestly, it shines through. You can see it in his artwork, right? There's real love and understanding the spirit in there. And so I never really got into Dragon Ball, but I bet that there are a lot of like really good spiritual lessons and truths in those shows.
Yeah, there are quite a few. You know, both Dragon Quest and Dragon Ball Z I've loved. I know you've loved especially the Dragon Quest. You were the one who introduced that to me growing up. So
yeah,
but I've always loved that, and yeah, his work was awesome. So
yeah, Dragon Quest honestly is, to me, it is one of the pinnacles of like interactive video game entertainment. It's definitely great for kids. You know, it teaches reading and morals, and you know the hero always does what's right. Like even when it comes to like, you know, forgiving the bad guys, sometimes you even have to do that in Dragon Quest. It's a very spiritually enlightened property, and yeah. So you know, if you're looking for something to expose your kids to that might uplift them a little bit, check out Dragon Quest or Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, he does the exact same thing in Dragon Ball Z. Forgives basically just about every enemy and makes them a teammate. So
yeah, well, that's how you do it, right?
Yep. But
cool.
So what are your, do you have any interest in gardening, let's say, per se, you know, one day, or are you ever looking to try your hand at it one day in the future?
Potentially, yeah. You know, yeah. I've never been the kind of guy that just wants to spend endless hours like outside in the heat, you know, gardening. There's other people who enjoy doing it and are good at it, so I would prefer to let them do it, you know. But you know, once I get like a home and not just an apartment that I'm renting, yeah, you know, I'd love to grow a few things, you know, maybe like some fruit trees, some berries, you know, stuff like that. I don't ever see myself graduating to your level, but or even approaching it. But yeah, you know, I mean, obviously, I see great value in it, and I respect people who are so close to nature. It's just not my calling.
Yeah, absolutely. As I think I said this earlier, everybody has their own calling or duty that they feel, you know, you'll feel it. Once you're aware, you give yourself enough self-love and connection, you'll feel it. You know, you just do. So, you know, you have to do what's best for you, but at the same time, it's kind of like the guy who's really good at one thing, but can be decent at a lot of other things too. So, you know, trying your hand in it would only benefit you. Maybe you fail at growing the plant, but you surpass where you were by connecting deeper to nature in the process, and you come out much stronger. Whether you give up, which I don't recommend you give up. I think you should try again. But you know,
this is me we're talking about. I never give up.
That's
never.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Even I haven't been giving up since like 6,000 years ago. Like I just don't give
up. Well, I just you know, I do know quite a few people that they tried their hand at one or two plants and they died, and then that was it. They gave up. And they're like, oh, how do you do it? And I said, you don't think I lose hundreds of plants per year? Even still, I do.
Anyone we know?
Yeah.
You don't have to name any names.
Yeah. But yeah, and yeah, you're exactly right. Gardening is amazing, patience builder, because as you can see in my background picture, my favorite out of everything to grow, my favorite is absolutely tomatoes. You can make all my favorite foods come from tomatoes. So it's, you know, that's That's got to be
I
my
do
favorite.
agree.
And
I do agree. Tomatoes are a magical fruit.
they are. And, you know, so watching a tomato plant grow and ripen, any plant, but in specific that one, you know, it really it made me impatient for the first few years, and now I'm just like, you know what, it's really worth the wait because at the same time, you know, I've also learned that the more you do, whenever they are ready, you have a lot more to enjoy. So that's why I try to mass produce as many as I can, even in this, you know, bit of space that I have. I've even expanded to the front yard as of this year with fig trees. I've been getting into the fig tree game, but you know, it's
Peaches. We've had some.
oh
We
yeah,
still have some peaches in our freezer that Sarah's gonna turn into like some kind of a dessert in the near future. So I'm pretty excited about that.
yeah. We ended up with 140 pounds of peaches off of one tree this year. That was 140 pounds of peaches, and the tree, the tree, you know, it's a good sized tree. It's maybe 15 feet tall, but we were just, I'm grateful above everything else, just so grateful. But you know, past the blessing and everything, we were just amazed. Like, how could one tree produce this much? It still blows my mind to think about it. But you know, we've given away pounds of peaches. I gave it to random people that were moving furniture in for me, or you know, people who were passing by, and family and friends, and we still have like 6-7 bags of peaches in the freezer. So it's pretty amazing. And actually, I learned a cool trick. If you just run your frozen peaches, run them under cold or warm water for a little bit, and then let them sit, the skins pull right off. So
Cool trick.
yeah, you ever want the skins to come off, no problem. It's kind of the same principle as a tomato. If you freeze your tomato and you know you want to take the skin off quickly, you just let it thaw a little bit, and the skin, you know, they come right off. So but yeah, so it's amazing to see all the different fruits and the ways that plants can give back to you with the energy you put forth into them. Oh yeah, yeah. I make homemade marinara all the time. Yeah, I'm a huge marinara guy. I have my own recipe. Yeah, it's really good. But
And he's gonna bottle that up and sell it too. Future of gardening sauce.
Well, my dream is to actually buy, you know, maybe 5 to 10 acres of land somewhere someday. Have a climate controlled greenhouse on one hand with stuff that I can depend on growing year round, but also have a large varied orchard of different fruit trees and plants, and then have a farm stand at the front. It's like a little farm shop that would have you know, different products that me and my wife make, you know, canned and jarred, ready to go. You know, people could come and purchase, or if they want to come buy produce, and then, you know, they could buy the products like marinara, or, you know, maybe salsa, or pickled stuff. And so, you know, that would be, you know, really awesome if we could get something like that going.
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Future of Gardening. That sounds like a really good dream, and you know, I bet you that if you keep holding that dream, it's gonna happen. God didn't put that dream in your heart for no reason. Let me tell you something, and you know some of this, but you know, 5 years ago, I started experiencing some very strange things, and God came to me and told me that the things that are happening to me in my life right now would happen. And you know, I didn't know what to think of that at the time. It was pretty weird. I had no idea how my life could even go from where I was to where I am. And you know, most people thought I was a raving lunatic, and I wasn't quite sure myself whether or not I was one. But here I am. Here I am. It's all come true or coming true, and your dream can come true too. Just stay faithful, stick with it, and you know, always do the right thing, even when everyone around you isn't.
Yep. Yeah, and you know, words are power. So, but it's not just the words that have power. I fully believe that words with the thought mentality have even more power. Like, this is going to happen. This is true, and you say it's
No.
true, but it's true.
Yes, the word for that is
And
gnosis.
yeah, and if you live that way, typically people are blessed, and I have lived that way for a while now. I'll do goofy things out in the yard. I'll talk to my plants sometimes. I'll tell them how, I'll hold them, because grounding is an important part of connecting with nature. Those plants go deep in the ground, and when you hold a tree, you are grounding yourself to many, many feet of just pure negative ions coming up out of that tree. And with us, like during the day, we build up so many positive ions. Stress builds positive ions. Exercise builds positive ions. All sorts of stressors on the body create just a response of energy that needs to escape. And that's why a lot of people end up getting fatigued, and a lot of people get illnesses and things like that. And if you I'm not saying grounding's gonna cure everything or heal anybody, but if you make that a practice in your life, it really helps. I struggled with sleeping terribly in 2023. I started practicing grounding and meditation techniques and different ways to control my thoughts better, and also just change my train of thought. That really, really helped me. I'm gone back to night and day, being able to sleep, not having the same kinds of issues. But I've also learned about herbalism, and a lot of the plants I grow aren't just for eating, but for medicine. For instance, I could give you a few things. Moringa. Moringa is known as the tree of life in a lot of parts of the world. And I can tell you, just from my observation, in 2020, was it last year? It was last year. It was very sad. But last year we had a giant moringa tree, probably 20, 25 feet tall. Beautiful tree. I loved it. It had this willow-like effect where the leaves were just coming down all around you, and it had these pods you could eat. They were like green beans, and you could eat the leaves, and it was awesome. But the coolest part about the whole tree was the synergy I noticed underneath the tree, where I could dig away at the base of the root tree, and all I saw literally was worm compost and earthworms everywhere. Earthworms. I didn't put them there. I was just blown away by, now I think I know why moringa is such an amazing plant. I think I know why they call it the tree of life. It's not because it's so good for you, not maybe 50%, but also because of the life it brings in around it. It's almost like putting a beacon of light in the water and watching shrimp and all the sea life congregate around it. It's almost the same thing. And so, since then, I've replaced that spot with a few other trees. Hopefully it won't come crashing down in another hurricane. But I did get another moringa tree, and I plan on planting it and just keeping it trimmed back a little bit better. Oh yeah, and the moringa, taking the moringa supplement, highly recommend it. That's a great thing you can do for your body. It can be rough on the stomach. I know Mrs. the Lion can attest to that. It can be very rough on the stomach, but you can get used to it. It's the reason it can be so rough is it's so high in polyphenols and flavonols and antioxidants that your body, it has a tough time breaking so much potency down so quickly. So what a lot of people do is they'll drink moringa tea and sip it throughout the day, and then you're getting it a little more level. I personally, I take a high flavanol cacao every morning. It was rough on my stomach at the beginning, but I've actually become accustomed to it over time. I've noticed huge, significant differences in both my energy levels and my sleep just from taking the cacao. So
we started using that too. And we put that in our protein shakes after our workout. And so I'll be honest. I'm doing so many things. It's hard to know what's working. And plus, like like seriously, my DNA is changing in real time. It's kind of crazy. Okay, like
Yeah.
honestly, like it's like Heroes, you know, it's kind of like that, and it's weird. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just going with it.
Yeah. That's all you can do is just you just take
Yeah.
life as it comes and just make the best of it. You know. It's,
Yeah.
You know, there's people that will they'll end up getting, you know, feelings of depression or anxiety, and the fact of the matter is, you know, you have to work on that firstly, but by working on it, you can reprogram your brain to look at the good in life and look at all the good things you have and be
Exactly.
thankful. Gratefulness for me was one of the number one things in meditation, and now that I practice daily, that will change your life. Just realizing all these things around you that you get to surround yourself with, you should be grateful for that. And every breath you take, and every second you're able to, you know, feel the earth beneath you, or, you know, you could break it down as small as you want to help your brain patternize and you know, regard a newfound respect for life and everything around you. But yeah, going back,
I learned that lesson too. Gratitude. What you
yeah,
express gratitude for is amplified, but also beyond that, it's not just what you express gratitude for; it's what you focus on. So
yeah,
if you focus on all the things that displease you, or the things that you wish you had, well, then your feeling of wishing is going to be amplified, and the things that displease you are going to be amplified. So focus on the things that you're grateful for.
yeah. I agree with that.
Do you want
I
to? Do you
think
want to tell? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, I can name a few of the other medicinal plants I'm growing. You
How
know,
about
I'm growing
soursop?
things. Soursop, beautiful, awesome plant. If you can grow it, it doesn't matter whether you get fruit or not. You want to have that in your yard for the leaves. The leaves are liquid gold if you drink it in tea, which I recommend. You don't do it any other way. But it's so good for you. Even if you don't have cancer, just have a maintenance drink once a week is really all you need. Once a week. It's a
Does soursop have
wonderful,
B17 in it, or is it something
a
else?
little, yep, amygdalin, yep, has a little bit of
Okay.
it. Yep. But it's a safe enough amount that they're not, everybody's not panicking and fear mongering like they are with apricot kernels, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
many good things have come about, people, you know, trying. I'm not recommending you do you, but personally, yes, I would do one a day as maintenance if I needed to. But you know, at the same time, you know, I'm growing, yeah, like you said, soursop. I'm growing another one that's wonderful. A lot of people these days have stomach problems, and I believe it's from a whole host of different things. Like, you know, there was an article the other day about, you know, medicines causing it, which I knew about that for a while, but there's also, you know, glyphosates and a lot of the food we eat, and especially processed food, that is wreaking havoc on our bodies. Stomach, unfortunately, is the brunt of it because that's your first line of, first off, defense, but also the first place it goes when it goes into your body. It's you know, your stomach can take a toll, whether it's gastroparesis or gastritis or reflux or, you know, just stomach pains or SIBO. You know, it's
Well, yeah, well, I saw an article the other day. In fact, it might have been you and I that shared it with each other. I don't know, but that they've traced, the extinction of the bees. They've tracked
Yep,
that back to chemical pollution,
I
the,
know.
the spraying in the air, and the spraying on plants, genetically modifying plants. It's killing the bees.
Yeah.
Um, and So yeah, what effect do you think that's having on our stomachs if it's killing the bees? Probably nothing
Uh,
good.
it's but actually, I heard a good term the other day, and it's something I bet anybody could argue with these big agriculture people who are arguing against it, but it's called bioaccumulation. It's an accumulation over time without your body being able to detox. And they're like, oh, well, this is a safe amount. Oh, well, this is a safe amount in this product. You know, But if you're eating this product and this product and this product, and you're doing it day after day because you have to survive, that is a bioaccumulation of that chemical, and that takes it to unsafe amounts in the body. You cannot get rid of it fast enough. And, you have to take it upon yourself to make sure you're detoxing. I would say at least a couple times a week with standard American diet. If you can, and if you're blessed enough to be able to buy more whole foods and whole food sources or grow your own food, I would recommend you do that in a heartbeat. But I know that's not the, option or opportunity a lot of people have. So you have to do what you have to do. But if you are eating standard American diet, there are many, many great ways you can detox your body and feed it what it needs to continue to defend yourself. For one, I just saw an article, load up on antioxidants, polyphenols weekly, more vegetables at the meal plate. It can be one you love. It can be whether you love broccoli or it doesn't matter, just something. And then two, a really good detoxifier is dandelion root tea, which yes, it's very anti-cancer, but I've been drinking it for years. It's wonderful for your liver. It acts as a it basically takes the water out of your body that's accumulated in there and makes you go and stuff. But it's a blood purifier, really. And I would recommend, there's a really cool brand that I've had for quite a while now called Tea Chino. And it's this company that takes dandelion root and mixes it with different things and creates a coffee substitute. And I'm still a proponent of coffee if you know what you're doing and you're getting the right coffee. A lot of it's got a lot of toxic mold in it these days, so you have to be very careful if you're sensitive to it. But coffee has an amazing host of benefits and antioxidants and polyphenols in it. I would not tell anybody not to drink it. It's fantastic. And I'm a big green tea proponent, matcha. I'll drink all three of them, but green tea is my main drink. But if you fill up your diet with good things and you flood your body with more of the good than the bad, then chances are you're going to start feeling better, and you're going to start even looking better, sleeping better, having more energy, because your body has that fuel. So
yeah, and I'm I just want to point out, and I'm sure you agree with this, but just for our viewers, when we talk about like all these things that we're exposed to that are harmful for us, and things that you can do to mitigate that, we are not trying to engage in like fear mongering or anything like that. Here's how it works. Okay, you need to do what you know is best for you, right? If you know to do something, do it, and trust spirit to take care of the rest. The human body is resilient, but when we're being attacked literally from every avenue, it's a lot. So whatever you can do to minimize that, whether it's making better food choices or grounding, getting with nature, like these are all steps that you can take to protect yourself and better yourself. We're not going for perfection here. We're going for what can you do to better yourself. And from day to day, it's a choice. Everyone has to make a choice. Which things they're going to be adamant about, and which things they're going to compromise on.
Yep, I agree. Switch to a roaster. Oh, by chance, who is the roaster? I'm just curious.
Yeah, we might know who they are.
I know quite a few coffee roasters here. So, one of my good friends, he actually lives out in Wesley Chapel, and they have Coffee Latitudes. I highly recommend their coffee, by the way. They're really awesome people and very kind. They've been in the coffee business for 30 years, and he's well aware of the toxic molds. And his decaf coffee, he does a water decaffeinator. So it's a Swiss way out of stocking mill. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of them, but I'll check them out. But yeah, so you know, it's cool actually to see all the people that are stepping up and roasting like really good quality coffee. And I notice a lot of them are coming out of Florida. I actually have a coffee tree right in front of me. It's I'm growing my own coffee. I've got fruit all over it right now, and I plan on roasting some as soon as they start ripening. Which I saw some are turning red out there. So yeah, I can post a link in the chat to Coffee Latitudes here in just a second. But yeah, it's pretty cool to. A lot of people didn't know you could grow coffee here, but if you can get it the first year or two past the winter, and it's not too harsh of a winter, and you make it, and your coffee tree gets mature, you're good, you're golden. And then the tree just keeps growing. I guess they can get up to like 10, 15 feet tall. I didn't know what I was in for, but here I am.
You probably have to be south of a certain line to even attempt it.
Yeah.
I bet people in the Panhandle couldn't do it.
No, I greenhouse you could do it, but I would say exposure to climate no further north than like Spring Hill. I think if you go much further north than that, you're asking for trouble or heartbreak. But, yeah.
Cool. Well, I could talk. I could talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I've got going on, because I've actually got some very big things in the works.
Let's hear it.
So first of all, I have partnered with a publisher, Bookwave Publishing, because I released my book in May, and I'm not trying to overstate anything, but it really is a kick-ass book. To some people, they may just look at it and say, "Oh, that's a pretty cool looking book," but like I literally created this book that is as good as anything you're going to find on the shelf from Marvel or DC, myself, with no help except ChatGPT, and on a shoestring budget, and I did it so well that I'm going to keep doing it and do it again and again and again. So
yeah.
So I finally, but I'm not really getting any sales, not at all. In fact, my first box of 50 books that I purchased, I gave all of them away except for one. but that's okay. That is the cost of doing business. You don't reap at sunset what you've sown at dawn. It takes time.
That's right.
You know this.
Just like gardening.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And so, finally when I reached the point where I was like, well, I don't know what else I can do to get more visibility. I saw an ad for a publisher. I was like, all right, well, maybe I should just look into it. And I reached out to them, and they, first we had an initial conversation, and they're like, oh, here's what we can do for you, blah, blah, blah. It's very, standard fare. And then I agreed to that. And they started working on it. And then he calls me up a couple days later, and he's like, you know what? I really love your book. He's like, and I don't normally talk to authors like this, okay? But I really love your book. And he's like, I think that your book deserves to be, it deserves better than to be an Amazon self-publishing book. And it deserves to be out there. And he outlined like this big publicity package for me. And yeah, it is a big investment, but I'm not paying it up front. Like literally, it's pay as I go. So like if they don't deliver, I'll just stop paying them, right? Like this is there's no catch 22 here or whatever. Like this is the real deal. And so they're gonna advertise my book in 4 major international newspapers, like the London Daily Times or something, some paper in London, and the New York Times, and 2 other like huge papers. And they're gonna put me on a Fox News podcast. Yes, I will be on a Fox News podcast
Really?
promoting my book. I don't know when. It won't be too long from now. They're building me a new website, a new social media presence. They're going to manage it all. This is all coming real soon. So,
Wow.
so yeah, so that's not to air our family drama on live TV, but that's why I got a little miffed the other night when I was like talking to our dad about this, and he's like, "Oh, it's probably not gonna go anywhere." Like, I'm
You know
sorry.
how often I hear it? That don't think he's targeting. He does it to me too. I just
Yeah,
brush
okay,
it off.
well, yeah.
I get it though.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's that. And then of course there's also my short horror film, Dear Lilith, I Love You. Have you seen it?
I
Yeah,
have.
I mean, yeah, it's striking, isn't it? Like, it leaves an
Yeah.
impression. Yeah, and yeah, so this is not a normal film. Okay, I'll just put it out there. Like, you are witnessing the convergence of the supernatural and science when you see this video. Make no mistake about it. The spiritual things you see happening in that film are quite real. These are my spirit guides in many cases,
Yeah.
who have agreed to work with me in this way, because disclosure is here, and this is part of it. So
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool, and I have submitted it to the Freak Show Film Festival in Orlando, which is going to be
Yeah.
at Halloween, and I'm definitely going to that. It's going to be a big show. I can't wait to see what happens. But,
That'll be interesting. See the feedback.
yeah, and then I've submitted it to the New York Tri-State International Film Festival. They actually emailed me personally and invited me to submit it. I got a review. I had to pay them for it, but still, I got a review from filmthreat.com. It was pretty basic, short review, but honestly, it was perfect for what I needed. It stated, exactly what I needed to say. And he even ended it with, I wish that there was more substance or something. And I'm like, or more description about the characters in the film. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'm glad you said that, because that's coming. so it's been interesting and really cool. And I am going to show it at the end of this live stream, actually.
Yeah. That's very cool, man. I'm when I say this, I want what's best, and let's aim for the moon or beyond.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I know you've got some things you've got to do, and this has been a great conversation. Lots of great information, and honestly, Andrew, I'd be happy to invite you back on our panel some other time, to participate in any conversation. So if you ever want to do it again, just let me know. Yeah, and I'll show the video now, and then we'll conclude. So thank you everyone who joined us today. This video is 11 minutes and 33 seconds long, just so you know. So if you start watching and you start wondering, well, how long is this? It's that long. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
down, shut up, be a good little girl. Hate me, bait me, will I ever fucking learn? Wits and revenge, now it's time to watch it burn. Beg me mercy, but you get